we see the memory of our protagonist and the war between two nations.
A close-up reveals a monstrous, horned figure with tears streaming from its glowing red eyes as blood splatters across its face. Its mouth is wide open in a raw, agonizing shriek of pure despair. SFX. AAAGHH. The perspective pans down, revealing a secondary monstrous head attached to the creature's body. Its single red eye stares blankly as dark energy and blood flow freely down the undead onslaught. The scene shifts drastically to a chaotic battlefield engulfed in flames. A horrifying horde of undead ghouls and skeleton warriors charges forward. One prominent, fleshless ghoul screams towards the sky, its eyes burning with crimson light. SFX. KRAAAAGH. The heavy, rhythmic thud of the army marching forward rattles the ground. SFX. Thud. Thud. Another massive, stitched together flesh golem stands tall amidst the raging fire. A young woman with blonde hair is seen falling violently amidst the chaos. Strike down. Her face is twisted in terror, tears welling in her eyes as she screams out in fear. SFX. KYAAAH. A warrior on the ground grimaces in pure agony, his face shadowed as the overwhelming force of the enemy closes in on him. SFX. Yuh. The explosive intervention. A massive, blinding explosion suddenly rocks the battlefield. A brilliant pillar of fire and light bursts upward, scattering the advancing skeleton army into the air. SFX. BOOOM. At the center of the blinding light, a white-haired warrior with fierce red eyes engages in a brutal, high-stakes clash of blades against a towering, dark-armored horned demon. Sparks fly as their weapons collide with immense force. SFX. Clang. The white-haired warrior grits his teeth, channeling every ounce of his remaining strength into his weapon. With a roaring battle cry, he unleashes a massive, crescent-shaped energy slash that tears through the air. Warrior. HAAAAAH. SFX. Swoosh. The devastating energy wave rips through the armored demon, completely shattering its defenses. A final, cataclysmic explosion erupts, sending skulls and debris flying into the blinding, fiery light. SFX. KABOOO. A massive, golden blade of light crashes violently into the earth, shattering the stone ground into thousands of flying shards. Smoke clears through the dust. The Empire's strongest swordsman stands, gripping his sword hilt. Wisps of glowing blue flame wrap around his face and white hair. He breathes heavily, phew, incredible. As expected of the Knight of Hell, the smoke parts completely to reveal his opponent, the terrifying, towering Death Knight. The Death Knight's armor is black as obsidian, adorned with a crown of horns and a cluster of glowing red eyes that pierce the darkness. He shifts his weight, his heavy armor clanking loudly against the rocky ground. Nearby, a white-haired knight kneels in a pool of blood, gripping a shattered sword. Completely defeated, suddenly, a female mage with matching pink hair snaps her eyes open in sheer shock. White-haired knight, groaning in pain, Kuug. Female mage. She grips her purple-gemmed staff tightly, staring across the ruined landscape. The camera pans out. The Grand Kingdom is completely engulfed in a raging inferno. Buildings crumble into ash. Atop the burning ruins stands a massive, skeletal demon lord, laughing maniacally as a tattered, burning flag whips in the wind. Skeletal demon. Good. Very good. The demon's jaws click together with a sickening crunch as his grin widens. I have finally brought this cursed empire down to its knees with my own hands. High above the burning city stares a mysterious hooded sorcerer in a dark cape holds a crescent-top staff, looking down at the absolute devastation below. There's an old saying that goes something like the longer the wait, the sweeter the revenge.
Over-the-shoulder shot of a hooded figure looking down at skeletal guards and a bound prisoner. Archlich, Dorgo, I have finally accomplished what I set out to do 1,000 years ago. Can you imagine how joyous I am right now? The dark aura clears, revealing a red-eyed skeleton with a spiked crown. Archlich, Dorgo. The weeping, golden-crowned emperor. Howard Adele Light screams in fury. Dorgo responds by mockingly flashing a pink heart. Howard, how dare you massacre all of my people? You filthy devil. Is hell not enough for you? Dorgo, how sweet. Is it a curse?
Dorgo stands over a burning city holding a sun-crested staff. He flashes a playful peace sign too. The enraged emperor. Dorgo, are you done talking? Shall we proceed with the coronation now? Howard, what nonsense is that? You, holding a coronation? Dorgo, I've unified the entire continent for the first time in history. Being called emperor is hardly too much. Bah. Howard, Q. Towering silhouettes of powerful demon kings step forward in the flames. Dorgo, you've all done well, my demon kings and Death Knight. Bring the imperial crown to me. A glowing, jewel-encrusted crown is presented on a cushion by a loyal, blonde knight in dark armor. Dorgo, ooh, my most loyal knight, you have played the greatest role in bringing me here. How should I reward you for your great service? Close up on a long-haired warrior with glowing red eyes. The camera scrolls down to reveal him, holding a grand, shining red crown embedded with jewels, presenting it in front of a giant figure. Silence from the warrior. The camera reveals the recipient, a skeletal Lick wearing a dark crown and robe. He strokes his chin thoughtfully, looking down upon the warrior. Lick. Voiceover. That was a foolish question. You are my slave. Serving me is the greatest reward of. The warrior tosses the massive crown high into the air. The crown floats up, sparkling in the light. The Lick reaches his clawed, skeletal hands upward in confusion. As it looms over him. Lick voiceover. Him? Rapid, dynamic action shots. The crown shatters or explodes with intense energy, cutting through the scene with a blinding blue and white flash. Nearby demonic monsters watch in shock and horror, wide-eyed with glowing red eyes. A powerful hand surges with red energy. A massive, swirling vortex of crimson light and electricity erupts around the Lick. Show various demonic generals and dynamic, glowing-eyed monsters bracing against the shockwave. The Lick clutches his wounded chest, which is bleeding dark energy. He stumbles backward, looking at the long-haired warrior who now grips a massive, dark sword. Lick voiceover. Qg. What are you doing? I had my defense on. How did he harm me? A dramatic close-up of the lower half of the warrior's face, casting a shadow over his eyes. Lick voiceover. I never gave you that. Or close-up pan of a long-haired warrior with glowing green eyes holding a massive, dark purple sword. Adorned with thorns. Warrior, I'm moving by my own will. Pan up to an armored, dark figure. Clutching a staff, visibly shocked, dark figure. What are you saying? I erased your consciousness completely. Cut to the dark figure's demonic allies in the background, followed by a dramatic transition against a red-lined background revealing a menacing shadow with glowing red eyes. Warrior. It only looked that way. The truth is, I never really disappeared. A giant, skinless humanoid figure is shown curled up in a void of dark red mist. Warrior, I was watching everything while I was trapped inside my own body. Wide shot overlooking a fantasy fortress city. A caped, skeletal sorcerer stands opposite the dark-armored warrior. Skeletal sorcerer. What? Extreme close-up of the skeletal sorcerer's grinning skull face. Skeletal sorcerer. Truly, you are my greatest masterpiece. For your achievements, I'll allow you to vent your anger just this once. Only until I find a way to take control again. The warrior unleashes a massive, explosive burst of purple energy, tearing through the demonic forces in a single bound. Action sequence, energy blast. The skeletal sorcerer watches in absolute disbelief as his elite army is instantly vaporized by the purple aura. Skeletal sorcerer, my demon kings were taken out in a single strike. There. Sorcerer raises his hands high, channeling swirls of glowing green necromantic magic to summon a massive horde of undead skeletons around him. Skeletal sorcerer, in that case. An army of the undead and skeletons charges forward fiercely. A skeletal hand points ahead. Leading the vanguard, intense battle music swells, close-up of ghouls and glowing-eyed monsters rushing with primal rage. Jia! The camera pans down through the legs of a giant monster to reveal a lone warrior standing firmly in dark, spiked armor, wielding a massive sword. Enveloped in purple flames, music shifts to a dramatic, tense tone, close up on the lower half of the armored warrior's face as his lips part slightly. Warrior, stop. Massive wings of pure dark energy erupt from the warrior's back, forcing the charging monsters to a sudden halt in sheer terror. Deep reverberating boom. The camera pans to a close-up of a long, pink-haired warrior with a glowing purple eye. A looming speech bubble appears. Warrior, surrender, all of you. The pink-haired warrior tightly clenches his fist. Dark purple lightning cracks through the air as nearby zombies scream in agony from the overwhelming pressure. SFX. Crackling energy and agonizing screams. A cataclysmic explosion of purple light erupts, vaporizing the surrounding undead army. A giant spectral skull opens its jaw, unleashing a blinding beam of magical energy. SFX. Boom. Blinding flash. A hooded, skeletal Lich sweats in pure shock and horror at the display of power. Lich, thinking, this can't be happening, I've created a monster equal to the gods. The pink-haired warrior stands completely unfazed, his dark armored fist still clenched tightly. Silence hangs heavy in the air. The Lich villain looks back across the battlefield toward the warrior, trying to regain his composure. Lich, I see, you must be furious. I understand. I'd feel the same. The camera pans over to organic, glowing green pods, hidden in the background containing cloned bodies. The Lich glares back with a menacing smile. Lich, don't think you've won. Even if this body is destroyed, I'll just transfer my soul to another vessel and regain control of you.
Bubbles over a desolate background, revealing a mysterious armored figure and a cloaked skeletal enemy standing across from each other. For all those long years I was trapped inside. I thought of nothing else other than how to kill you. The armored warrior tightly gripping a massive, dark sword pulsing with a faint blue and purple aura. Skeletal enemy, him? An intense flash of blue light rains down from above, revealing the warrior charging forward at lightning speed, cape billowing, looking down at the incoming threat. The fierce, scarred face and glowing green eyes of the warrior. To kill you, I created a sword technique that severs even the soul. A black and white impact bubble appears. The scene abruptly shifts into a streak of brilliant blue and yellow energy as the warrior unleashes an absolute devastating slash. The skeletal enemy is suddenly caught directly in the path of the blinding light beam. Its red eyes widen in pure panic. Skeletal enemy. That looks dangerous. I should dodge for no. The energy blast rips completely through the environment, splitting the sky and shattering the ground as the ultimate attack is executed. The scene slowly fades into a blinding white screen. The view cuts back to the skeletal enemy, now sweating and trembling in shock. Skeletal enemy. The skeletal enemy tries to laugh it off, holding its chest as the reality of the damage begins to set in. Purple and white energy text slams onto the screen as its body violently cracks apart from the delayed impact. Haha, of course. There's no way such a techni. KRSCHII.
A swirling vortex of dark purple energy tears open the sky. A jagged, ominous weapon descends slowly through the storm. A pink-haired warrior clad in dark armor looks up, their expression tense as they witness the overwhelming power manifesting above. The path of the dark energy. The Portal beams a blinding ray of light downward, carrying a sharp spike of pure darkness. And a heavy, continuous hum of crackling magic. A terrifying, monstrous face. Its flesh is gaunt and pale, and two piercing red eyes glow with murderous intent. Massive shockwave of purple and white. Light explodes across the sky. The pink-haired warrior shields their eyes slightly, hair whipping. In the fierce wind, the dust clears as a human skull slams violently into the barren ground, kicking up deer and debris. Crash. The skull rolls slowly across the desolate landscape, coming to a halt as loose rocks settle around it. A towering, dark-armored warrior with glowing red highlights stands over the remains. A speech bubble appears above them. Dark warrior, go to hell. The warrior raises a massive, heavy iron boot directly over the skull. The warrior stomps down with immense force, completely shattering the skull into tiny fragments and breaking the earth beneath. Crunch. A bearded king wearing a golden crown looks on from the ground, trembling and covered in sweat. King. What is happening? Action. In the background, the dark warrior stands victoriously, sword in hand, amidst the dust. The pink-haired warrior, physically spent, falls heavily to their knees. Their head drops in sheer exhaustion. Pink-haired warrior. Ha! It's finally over. Let me do one last thing. Action. The warrior grips their sword with both hands, raising the blade high above their head, preparing for a final, decisive strike.
I need to apologize to them, even if I can only meet them. A sharp blade reflects a single, intense red eye filled with determination and sorrow. In death.
A massive, menacing armored demon with large horns slashes its glowing red blade downward in a brutal arc. I need to say, the horned demon holds a defeated warrior high in the air, completely impaled through the chest by a colossal sword in front of a burning window. An extreme close-up of the dying warrior's eye. A single tear escapes, as the reflection of the victorious demon glows faintly within the pupil.
That I'm sorry, to my family. Dark blood splatters violently across a stark white canvas. The camera tilts down under a stormy grey sky. The massive horned demon is defeated, kneeling on the ground with a giant sword driven completely through its back. The screen fades to grey.
Dream state. Ian. Damien.
A jagged speech bubble bursts out of the pitch-black darkness. Damien's thoughts. This voice. Louise. A brilliant, blinding white light pierces through the darkness. A gentle, teal speech bubble appears. Louise. Damien, why are you sleeping here? The light fades to reveal the silhouette of a young woman with long, light brown hair standing under the sunlight. Dialogue. Louise. Thank goodness. Pans down to show her warm, smiling face and vibrant blue eyes, surrounded by lush green leaves. Damien's thoughts. I'm getting to see her before falling into hell. Huh.
The screen flashes white, focusing instantly on Damien's wide, trembling brown eye as he suddenly wakes up. Damien, hey. WHY do you look so young? Cut back to Louise, who covers her mouth and giggles playfully at his remark. Louise, my. Flattery out of nowhere? Are you trying to get on my good side before father scolds you again? The bright green tree branches filtering the afternoon sun. It reveals a peaceful forest clearing where a young Damien is leaning back against a massive tree trunk, with Louise crouching beside him. Louise, alright, YO you can count on your big sis. It might rain soon though, so you'd better hurry inside.
The camera pans down to a young man sitting on the grass. He notices a woman in a blue dress walking away toward a large mansion in the background. A look of confusion crosses his face. Extreme close-up of the man's eye, which is glowing with a fiery orange and yellow magical aura. He is deep in shock. Definitely destroyed this mansion with my own hands. Down to the man looking at his hands in complete disbelief. Trembling slightly. Man, don't tell me. Is this a dream? A terrifying, skeleton-like creature wearing a dark hooded cloak and crown emerges from the shadows. It reaches its sharp, bony claws forward. A grim ritual room lit by candles. The skeleton creature stands over the man's lifeless body, which is strapped to an altar as dark magic swirls around him. The man's eye snaps open, sweating heavily. Or was everything else the dream? The dark memory breaks. The man looks down at the grass in front of him, spotting a small, broken wooden stick lying on the dirt path. He hardens his expression. I'll find out soon enough. The stick, showing a single green leaf sprouting from its tip. The scene shifts to the man standing in front of a massive grey boulder, pointing the stick directly at it. Close up on the man's face as he prepares himself. Man thought this feels just right. The man takes a sudden, aggressive step forward, kicking up dust. He winds back, his arm gripping the wooden stick tightly as it begins to slice through the air with incredible speed. Swoosh! Slice! The stick moves in a blinding blue magical arc. With a powerful thrust, he drives the fragile piece of wood straight into the solid stone boulder. Sound effect. Crash. The wooden stick has completely shattered, leaving a burst of splinters on the cracked stone surface. The man's eyes widen in utter shock as he looks back at the damage. He realizes something impossible has just occurred. The camera zooms in on his face as a slow, manic grin spreads across his mouth, his teeth baring in newfound excitement. Man, this is insane.
A solid stone floor spider webbing with deep, heavy fractures. Crackle. Crunch. The perspective violently shifts. A massive eruption of bright blue magical energy and shattered boulders explodes upward into the cloudy sky. The camera pans down to reveal the young man standing amidst the flying debris, engulfed in a powerful shockwave. Boom! The man slowly looks downward, trembling as a soft, hesitant chuckle escapes him. Man, weakly, ha, ha, man, ha ha ha. The background shifts to a deep, ominous blood-red vortex. The man clutches his face with his hand, throwing his head back as his quiet laughter turns into an intense, manic roar. Man kuhha. The red vortex vanishes, dropping back to reality. The man drops to his knees on the grass, completely exhausted, surrounded by the remnants of the shattered boulder. Man, gasping for breath, a sudden downpour of rain begins to fall. The camera focuses on his tightly clenched fist, trembling as water droplets stream down his skin. Heavy rain falling. The camera pans up across his soaked clothes, capturing his heavy breathing as he struggles to process the reality of his situation. Man, choking back tears, cue. Ooh. The shot transitions to a close-up of his profile. Rain drips from his chin against a stormy, overcast sky. This isn't a dream. The final shot reveals his face. Tears mix with the rainwater streaming down his cheeks. But he wears a genuine, emotional smile of relief. He holds his shirt tightly over his heart as the sky begins to clear above him. I really have returned to the past.